Essay number 13, 101 Things More Worth Thinking About Than Whatever's Consuming You. Right now, there's something consuming you. I know there is. Maybe it's that person who won't text you back. Maybe it's that mistake you made 3 years ago that your brain likes to replay at 3 a.m. Maybe it's that hypothetical argument you're having with someone who isn't even in the room. Whatever it is, it's taking up valuable real estate in your mind, and we need to talk about what else could be living there instead. Because here's the thing about our thoughts. We only get so many in a day, and most of us are spending them on the mental equivalent of junk food. We're gorging ourselves on anxiety, regret, and imaginary scenarios, while the thoughts that could actually change our lives go unthought. So let's start with something better. Picture the life you actually want. Not in vague terms like successful or happy, but in specifics. What color are your sheets? What do you buy at the grocery store? What's in your fridge? How much money is in your savings account? What work are you proud to have done? What do you take photos of? These details matter because they make the future real, tangible, something you can work toward instead of just dream about. Or think about this, the parts of yourself you need to work on, not because someone else doesn't love them, but because you don't. We spend so much time trying to change ourselves for other people that we forget the most important relationship we have is with ourselves. Sometimes the ultimate act of self-love is admitting you don't actually like who you are right now and coming up with concrete steps to become someone you can respect. Think about how you're going to quantify this year. Not in achievements or milestones, but in experiences. How many books will you have read? How many genuine connections will you have fostered? How many things will you have created? How many times will you have chosen courage over comfort? Because at the end of the year, you won't remember the hours you spent scrolling or worrying. You'll remember what you did, who you loved, what you made. Consider the things in your past that you thought would destroy you. That breakup that felt like the end of the world. That job you lost. That opportunity that passed you by. How insignificant they seem now. How little space they take up in your current life. Whatever's consuming you right now will be the same, a footnote in your story, not the whole chapter. Think about what you could create today. Not someday, not when you're ready, not when you have more time or money or talent. Today, with what you have, where you are. Because creation is one of the few things we carry with us. The things we make, the connections we foster, the experiences we choose. Think about how you actually learn best. Are you visual? Do you need to hear things? Do you learn by doing? Whatever it is, you probably aren't structuring your life to support your natural way of processing the world. You're trying to force yourself into systems that don't work for you, and then wondering why nothing sticks. Here's a profound thought. You don't need to be exceptionally beautiful or talented or successful to experience the things that make life worth living. Love doesn't require a perfect body. Connection doesn't require an impressive resume. Joy doesn't check your bank account. Community doesn't care about your follower count. The best things in life are shockingly democratic. Think about the cosmos for a moment. How vast it is, how insignificant we are, but also how essential. Without you, without any single one of us, the entire universe would be different. Every interaction you've ever had has shifted the trajectory of someone's life, even if just slightly. You're both nothing and everything simultaneously. Think about the people you smiled at this morning, the barista who made your coffee, the person who held the door, the friend who sent you a meme. These tiny moments of connection that we overlook because they've become routine, they're the actual fabric of life. Not the big moments, the small ones. Think about how you'll remember this time in your life 20 years from now. What will you wish you had done? What will you wish you had stopped doing? What little things will you realize were actually the big things? Because here's the truth. You likely won't remember this specific day 20 years from now. How many of your days do you really remember? Maybe a few dozen out of thousands. So why are you treating today like it's so precious that you can't risk doing anything with it? Think about everything you honestly didn't like about that person you're no longer with, now that you're not emotionally obligated to lie to yourself. their annoying laugh, the way they chewed, their inability to take responsibility, how they made you feel small. It's okay to admit these things now. It's healthy, actually. Think about the patterns in your failed relationships. Not to torture yourself, but to see clearly. What role did you play? What did you ignore? What did you choose? Because until you see the pattern, you're doomed to repeat it. Think about what you secretly love about your problems. Nobody holds on to something unless they think it's doing something for them. Maybe your anxiety makes you feel productive. Maybe your sadness makes you feel deep. Maybe your anger makes you feel powerful. What payoff are you getting from your pain? Consider that maybe your current problem isn't actually a problem. Maybe your perception is skewed. Maybe you're so focused on your discomfort that you can't see the solution that's right in front of you. Maybe this situation you're in, unplanned, unwanted, is actually the path to where you've always wanted to be, if only you'd start thinking of it that way. Think about your mortality, not in a morbid way, but in a clarifying way. You're going to die. Everyone you love is going to die. Everything you're worried about will eventually be forgotten. Does that make your current concerns seem more or less important? Think about what you want to be defined by when it's all over. What kind of person do you want to be remembered as? Kind, intelligent, generous, brave? Now think about what you could honestly be defined by right now based on your consistent actions. Is there a gap? There's your work. Think about your unconscious assumptions about reality and how they shape everything you experience. What would be possible if the things you assume are true actually weren't? What options exist outside your default way of thinking? Think about how you can help someone today. Not in a grand way. Just buy someone lunch. Send an encouraging text. Share something that made you think of them. These small acts of service pull you out of your own head faster than anything else. Think about the fact that other people don't think the way you think. That thing someone did that offended you, they might not even remember it. That meaning you assigned to their behavior, they might have meant something completely different. We're all walking around in our own realities, bumping into each other, assuming everyone else sees what we see. Think about what you would tell everyone in the world if you could only say one thing. What message would you want to spread? What truth would you want to share? Now think about why you're not living that message yourself. Think about what you'd tell your younger self. Would you tell them it all works out? That the thing they're terrified of is actually the best thing that ever happens to them? That they're stronger than they know? Now, realize you can tell your current self the same thing. Think about your pet, if you have one. How they love you completely, unconditionally, despite knowing exactly what you look like first thing in the morning and how you act when no one's watching. If a dog can love you that much, maybe you're more lovable than you think. Think about what's worth suffering for, because everything is hard. Being in a relationship is hard, being single is hard, having a demanding job is hard, being unemployed is hard. Everything requires effort and involves suffering. The question isn't how to avoid suffering, it's what suffering is worth it to you. Think about your deepest fear. Really sit with it. Now realize that your deepest fear reveals your deepest desire. If you're afraid of being alone, you desire connection. If you're afraid of failure, you desire significance. If you're afraid of being seen, you desire acceptance. Your fears are just your desires in disguise. Think about what enough means to you. Enough money, enough success, enough love, enough productivity. If you don't define enough, you'll spend your entire life seeking more, never satisfied, always hungry. Fulfillment isn't about getting more, it's about recognizing enough. Think about what you'd do with an extra $1,000 a month. Not a million, not a lottery win, just 1,000. The specificity matters, the achievability matters. This isn't a fantasy, this is a goal. Think about how much of your self-perception is built by other people's opinions. How much of who you think you are is actually who you've been told you are. Who are you when nobody's watching? That's the real you. Everything else is performance. Think about who you thought you'd be when you were younger. Not to mourn who you haven't become, but to notice that the essence of that dream, the core desire, is probably still alive in your current life, just in a different form. Think about how you'd behave if you knew for certain that your thoughts created your reality, that every thought was a vote for the kind of life you want to live. Would you think differently? Would you choose differently? Think about what genuinely turns you on, not what's supposed to, not what's acceptable, what actually lights you up. This isn't just about sex, it's about life, what makes you feel alive. Think about what you admire most in others. That quality you love, that's what you value in yourself. Think about what annoys you most in others. That quality you hate, that's what you can't accept in yourself. Think about how love could save your life if you let it. Not romantic love necessarily, but love in all its forms. The love of friends, of family, of strangers, of yourself. How different would your life be if you accepted all the love that was being offered to you right now? Think about a mantra that could change everything. Not something you've read, but something you create. A truth that's yours. A reminder that the future will be different and you'll figure out how to make it so. Think about the people who depend on you, who would be devastated if you weren't in their lives. You matter more than you know. Your presence changes things. Your absence would be felt. Think about where you'll be in 5 years if you carry on exactly as you are. Same habits, same thoughts, same choices. Is that where you want to be? If not, something needs to change today, not Monday, today. Think about how many people go to bed at night wishing they had what you have. The job you complain about, the body you criticize, the family you take for granted, the problems you're dealing with. Someone somewhere would trade places with you in a heartbeat. Think about how many times you went to bed wishing you had what you have now. Remember when your current situation was your dream scenario. When did it stop being enough? When did you stop being grateful? Think about your most fully realized self. Not perfect, but fully realized. How do they think? What do they focus on? What do they ignore? Who do they love? What do they create? The first step to becoming that person is conceiving of them. Once you can see them clearly, everything else is just logistics. Whatever's consuming you right now, that worry, that regret, that fear, that person, it's taking up space where all of these thoughts could live instead. It's monopolizing mental energy that could be used to actually build the life you want. It's a placeholder for real thinking, real planning, real living. You only get so many thoughts in a day. You only get so many days in a life. Every moment you spend consumed by something that doesn't serve you is a moment you don't spend on something that could transform you. So what's it going to be? Another hour thinking about that thing that doesn't matter? Or one thought, just one, about something that could change everything? The choice, as always, is yours.